Good evening, everyone. Happy 2021, and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer playoffs. We've got a great match tonight. The so far undefeated Phendrana Drifters, represented by Jet, going against Team Kappa, represented by Gammachuu. I'm Drossi. I'm here with JP. How are you doing?
Doing good. Going to be a nice matchup here tonight. See if Phendrana can remain undefeated, or Team Kappa can handle them their first loss and tie the series at one game apiece. We got Jet and Gammachuu. Their teammates are in chat, which is almost confused there for a second. But what we got today for you is a swordless standard key sanity. That's what we'll be seeing here today.
Yes, apologies for the layout. We'll get that fixed in a moment.
And we are going.
Oh, yes, and Gammachuu is now playing as Pichu because, hey, it still ends in Chu, right?
Fair enough. And just playing his is kind of traditional Zero Suit Samus sprite. So, standard open, since it's swordless, we're going to get something in the escape here that'll let them finish it. Will be one of 6 items.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not a bomb open, but you never know.
Well, we're about to find out. It's a bomb open.
Calm curse.
Well, the good news is they won't have to get bombs to the back of escape, but the bad news is they're going to have to start with bomb strats, which they should both be well versed in, so it shouldn't be an issue for them, but it'll be a bit slower.
Yeah. I mean, who needed a 6-minute escape sequence anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's key sanity. It's going to be a long seat anyway.
At least it's not all dungeons.
That's true. The other settings is this is defeat Ganon. There's no Randomizer turned on in this. And this is just normal mode for difficulty, item difficulty, or item pool difficulty. Actually, I was talking about this a little earlier before the race, but Jet picked standard and swordless, which essentially kind of gave him 3 picks here. Because the way the league, way Sahabat works for the league, is that if you pick standard and swordless, it will at least turn off the overworld enemies part of Randomizer. Unless your opponent picks it.
Yeah, that basically, we don't want to force people into a situation where they have to go through escape with randomized enemies and no sword. Unless they really want to do that and pick the settings themselves, but Sahabot is never gonna pick those settings for them.
There's our first key sandy small key, which we were expecting. Small key to this dungeon.
Yeah, have to get a small key either here or before Dark Cross.
Yeah. Looking back to week 3 when these two teams faced off, actually it was very similar matchups. Fear Agent faced Frostbites. Frostbite took the win there, and then one of faced Megawatt, and Megawatt took the win there. So Jet and Gammachuu did not play the first time these two teams met.
Yeah, and these are 2, like, really top runners. Jet is still technically the reigning champion of the main tournament.
Yeah, I played Jets, I think, in the 2018 tournament. He was in my group, and he went 3-0 against me. He beat me all 3 times, but I mean, our races were close. I remember playing him close, but he is very good. So, no surprise there. Gammachuu, I haven't really played him directly, but I've seen him play a lot, and yes, he's very good as well. Gammachuu is 7-1 so far this season, and Jet is 7-0.
I was just looking to see if you'd get to play either of them if your own team advances, which you guys are now one game away from being in position to play the winner of this series. But no, you'll go up against either 1UP or Megawatt if you guys advance.
Yep. Our game 4 is still to be decided. We'll figure that out a little later.
Well, we gave everyone.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying we gave everyone an extra week to get the games 4s and 5s in so that they don't have to be rushed like they were last season.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely had to rush a bit last season, and that kind of hurt at times. You're trying to get 5 games in a week. A lot of fun for the audience, probably, but not as much fun for some of us running it.
And especially with the holidays this time around, SpeedGaming actually shut down. Ooh, that cape is nice. SpeedGaming shut down for Christmas and New Year's, so we couldn't restream anything on here on those days, and none of the runners wanted to anyway.
So that cape is interesting to keep in mind, because that's basically piece 1 towards a potential AGA progression. Since this is swordless, the AGA progression will be a little different.
Now, since it's key sanity, though, we do need 2 castle tower keys for AGA to be in logic, so...
Good point, yep.
We'll get a strong hint if castle tower keys start showing up. And there's the Moon Pearl, so, maybe we won't need AGA.
I'll have to see 1 item each way so far.
Yeah, but the thing about the cape is it means you don't need the hammer to get at AGA, and so the hammer would strictly be pointing us towards non-AGA Dark World access if it shows up.
I think, though, in that case, though, we would still need to find the bug net. I think, logically, the bug net could be required for that.
That's true. You need the hammer or the bug net to fight AGA.
Which is actually a good, interesting thing to bring up, too, is that these runners, if they see the bug net, they're going to pick it up, most likely.
Especially Gamma, who, during some of his practice seeds for this race, basically got into bug net mode, though I gather he's been practicing Hammer AGA strats since then.
Yeah, it's good to know both. They're both out of escape. No map check because this is key sanity, so we need maps to find out what our dungeons are.
Oh, Desert Key. That's kind of a nice find. You now don't need to worry about, once you get into Desert, do the back.
There's a flute. That'll give him some nice movement early.
Yeah, fast transportation to the desert area.
Of course, we still need a lot for desert. We need at least a book, a glove, a lamp or fire rod, and potentially those boots. And the big key. Desert actually has quite a lot of requirements to get into it, despite it being an early game dungeon.
Yeah, we could find the mitts in the mirror, though, and that would get us there.
That's another way in. Though we would still need a fire source to finish it.
Yeah. And we're also seeing a nice advantage of this bomb opening. They don't have to worry about being short on bombs for Kakariko.
Oh, and they'll take that half magic. That's a very nice pickup. And that fairy.
Yeah, always nice to get a bottle early so you can just check Sick Kid on your first swing through CAC.
And some flippers.
Now, of course, with the pod key showing up, we don't yet know if we're even going to need to see pod, because we don't know if it's a crystal or a pendant.
As this is defeat Ganon seed, they will need to just beat the 7 crystals. No pendants necessarily needed, though never know. There's our first big key to pod.
Yeah, with these pod keys showing up, I'm assuming that either it's a crystal or has something important in it.
Another key. First key to GT. First key to Skull Woods. And that's one of our swords. Yeah. Gamma not checking bottle vendor right away.
Yeah.
Probably come back around.
I would hope so. It was a little bit odd to walk right past him. Bombs, of course. Meanwhile, Jet not activating the flute while he's going right by there.
That's easy to forget. I forget that all the time. First map, Skull Woods.
Though we'd have to get to the Dark World first to find out what the map says.
So, when somebody's in chat saying that Gamma just wants more bombs, which is why he didn't buy the bottle vendor item, which ironically is bombs.
You know what they say? I bet you'd like to have more bombs.
Well, there's start of our money for Zora. With Flipper, Zora is in logic. Looks like Jet's route's going to pay off slightly more, though he also didn't activate that flute.
Yeah, now Gamma's gonna feel silly wasting 100 rupees.
Okay, I take that back. I don't know if that was an intentional flute by Gamma or not.
But Gamma's now going to be the first to lower CAC. We'll see what's on the library ledge. Can't get it. And then race game, and then we don't have to save and quit. We can just flute out.
There's a key in the library, so maybe we need a boots to get it.
Yeah, that's one thing about key sanity. You hate seeing keys in plain sight but inaccessible, because then it's like, well, I have to come back for this unless I'm already in go mode.
Yeah. And Gamma's going to go straight for the race game, using key sanity a better move, because more often you're going to need something here, but this time it won't pay off. And the duck ditch
Wow. And Gamma doesn't even bother with the heart piece, despite the fact that they're, at 3 hearts, and once Gamma's invested that time. Oh. And Jet's a step closer to Dark World access, and Gamma will probably go there soon, too.
Yeah, but if Jet's going to pass up a Nagina and there's something here, that could be advantage Gamma. See if his time pays off.
It's less likely because of that early flute.
Yep, just a heart container. And there's a compass in the dam. These runners don't care about compasses.
Yeah, I think they can count their item collections. Wow, that bush crab really paid off.
There's
Gamma will discover that.
Yeah, there's Zora money. Both runners taking on the Moldorms with, or at least Jet for now. Gamma will shortly be taking on the Moldorms with the bombs.
Yeah, just having trouble landing the bombs, though, and he's now kind of tight for them.
Now, this definitely takes some practice to get used to. Down to 1 bomb, which will be enough for Ice Rod Cave. So we got a map to desert, small key to ice, hearts, and another map to mire. So we've got some dungeon information sitting there.
The heart container was probably the most useful thing in there, honestly.
And Jet's gonna go farm some more rupees, so he's likely gonna go for Zora.
And the other thing, of course, is that We don't have to find all the maps to get some information. We can always talk to Sahasrala to find out where the green pendant is. We can talk to the bomb merchant to find out where the 5-6 crystals are.
There's Jet's money. Is he just going to go straight for Zora and not go to Ice Rod Cave? I guess so.
Well, again, with the flute, you can always just flute to 8 and do Ice Rod Cave whenever.
That is true. Another key sitting on the open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is frustrating key sanity when that happens.
You then have to remember, okay, where are all the places I've now seen keys that I have to remember to go back to when I get the items that make them accessible?
Ooh, there's a nice pickup. Was Jet trying to fake flipper with real flippers there?
Force of habit. I mean,
Yeah,
how often do you get to hobo in logic within 15 minutes?
that is very true.
Oh, and interesting routing by Gamma, doing the hobo, then fluting to 8 to do Ice Rod Cave, and probably from here he'll go down. Though he isn't close to Zoramon, he doesn't know about that bush crab reward.
I think Jet might be just skipping Ice Rod. Oh, there's Boots! Well, yeah, I was going to say, Jet might have been skipping the Ice Rod Cave because he only had one bomb.
And Gamma's saving and quitting out. You know, the longer Gamma takes to get those boots, the more of an advantage that is to Jet. Hey, you saw that Zora ledge.
Yep, there's an Ice Rod. So those... Okay, Gamma's setting up actually for a Houlihan here to get the money for Zora, so he's not going to be far behind on those boots.
Okay, that's fortunate for him. TR small key. That and the Ice Rod tells me TR is likely required.
Most likely. We're still looking for our Dark World access, though. We are one item away from it. Just need another glove or the hammer.
And we haven't actually seen what's in Lumberjack yet. But now that we have boots, I feel like one of these runners will check Lumberjack relatively soon.
Most likely they're out at the same time to check Bonk Rocks, yes. Yeah, Gamma picks up his boots as well, not too far behind, so Jet maybe had like a minute's advantage on that, which is not much at all.
Yeah, I mean... Ooh, Desert's the green pendant, so that makes it kind of interesting that we got that Desert small key so early.
There's a mirror and a big key to Thieves Town.
And our second TR small.
So mirror's a nice pickup. Nothing doesn't put anything in logic by itself, but that is still a nice, very nice pickup for routing.
It actually does put things in logic because with that flute we can get to Death Mountain. We can now enter Tower of Hera.
Yep, you are right. I was thinking the access of Death Mountain was by gloves, which if it was, then it wouldn't be in logic. But yes, with flute it would be.
And there might be something on Spectacle Rock. There are only 2 checks we can do inside Tower of Hera at the moment without any keys.
So Gamma's... This is our first bit of real divergence, is Gamma's going to check the Bonk Rocks as Jet does Eastern.
Oh.
Oh, there's the mitts.
Now that could be bad for Gamma because that'll probably take him away from finding the mirror. And once you have Dark World access, it's a lot nicer if you have it with the mirror.
Yeah, agreed. It's straight over to Bonk Rocks. Oh, man.
So if Gamma were to get that mirror, he could Herapot and complete Tower of Well, no, he doesn't have a weapon to defeat Moldorm with.
Yeah,
Scratch
Hammer's
that.
knee. And the duck keeps touching him.
Oof, and now he's, making an unnecessary trip to Death Mountain because he could save him some time if he, had that mirror.
Yeah, that's likely not going to... Those mitts are going to elude Jet for too long unless he happens to come across the hammer in here. But likely those mitts are gating our Dark World progressions.
Absolutely, and combine that with the flippers and we have full Dark World access.
Gamma giving us some Death Mountain checks. There's the Cane of Samaria.
I guess the only crazy thing that could still happen is if Hammer's in the pyramid.
There's a lamp.
Oh, I totally missed that sitting on Spec Rock. So yes, we know that's in logic. Gamma doesn't.
Yeah, Gamma will not be able to get that. And Jet is going up the mountain without the hookshot, so that's going to be an extra trip for Jet as well.
Yeah, it's funny. They both saw a progression item that pointed to Death Mountain, didn't realize there were two of them out there.
And both of them are doing this dark room, and they're going to find the... they're both going to find the lamp right after this dark room. And 2 fairies in bottles. That's pretty nice for these runners.
Yeah, especially in Swordless.
Alright, got the treasure trove of Paradox Cave. There's another bottle. And another sword.
Didn't you know this is like bottle percent?
So whoever finds the all 4 bottles first wins?
Right. Makes for a nice short race.
Unless that 4th bottle's in GT.
I can't have everything.
So Gamma's going to give us a Spiral Cave look as Jet goes for Hera. Now that lamp, actually, once we pick up the mitts, Desert is almost fully in logic. Still need the big key, though.
Oh, I just realized, speaking of things in logic, one important thing about that cape, the first chest of Agate Tower is in logic and fully accessible.
Well, yes, you are correct that it is.
And who knows if that has something important or if either runner's going to think to check it.
Okay, and nothing in Hera for Jet, so he's out. Save and quit means he's likely going for Bonk Rocks. Well, Gammachuu... So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and then he'll have his mitts, and then he'll go to King's Tomb, and then he'll probably go back to Death Mountain.
Gammachuu checking out Super Bunny Cave. Oh, he's not checking King's Tomb.
He's going straight for the Dark World. No, he's going for Library and that key.
Okay, Chat theorizing that Jet's just going to pair King's Tomb with Graveyard Ledge, which... Oh, there's a Castle Tower key.
So now we can get both chests out of Castle Tower.
There's a small swamp on Gammachoo's side, which, depending on what swamp is a very important key.
And other than Gamma, well, not having that mirror, that does give us access to the first two chests in Swamp.
There's a Turtle Rock information. Need Ether for access into Turtle Rock.
So where's Gamma gonna go? Oh, good. He is going to check Saha's closet, so he'll get his mirror.
Yeah, after all this... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you know, with so many items in friendly locations, the seed is actually rewarding players for being more thorough.
Oof. Jet did not want that.
No. And with the mirror, you don't want to rush to do this, but Magic Bat is now in Logic. You just have to sacrifice a mirror portal for it.
Yeah, I'd say early on, feels like Gamma's route's paying off maybe a little better. Hard to say, though. It's still really early.
Hey, and we just saw a very quick map check on Gamma's side. Tower of Hera is a regular crystal.
So we do need to clear that, though we'll need at least a hammer. That's the only way to damage Moldworm and Swordless.
Well, and for all that, we have convergence on Skull Woods here.
I mean, looking at what they're doing, they've been pretty thorough, but so far it makes sense because logically they don't have a dungeon they can complete yet. You could go and do Thieves' Town, but without the small key, it's technically not in Logic.
I was just about to say, do you do a Samaria blind? Or do you wait for a better weapon?
Samaria blind's not too bad at all.
I guess with half magic, you got plenty of shots if you miss.
Yeah, Samaria blind's actually kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but it's not a very difficult one. So Jet will get his hookshot if he jumps down and checks King's Tomb from here, but is there anything in Graveyard Ledge? There is a key.
Logically, that's required. There are enough keys under Pots and Skullwoods that you can just steal them and not need to worry about it.
Yep, and Jet's gonna pick up his hookshot. Jet, Gem, they have very close names.
Oh, and it looks like a bit of convergence here on Graveyard Ledge, too.
So, Jet might be continuing to catfish? No, he's not. He would have gone the other way.
Yeah, I guess he's going to check Village of Outcasts now. And I'm going to guess at least front of Thieves' Town, even if he doesn't go for the back yet. Just, 4 items there.
Gamma gonna give us the Mire area check and potentially a dip in the desert. And it's Quake for Mire.
I was going to say we can even beat Desert, though it's green pendant, but Gamma never grabbed that lamp.
Well, we also don't have the Desert Big.
Oh, right. Right, I was so excited by the small, I forgot we don't have the big. But yeah, while we were looking at that, Jet, in fact, grabbed that Quake medallion.
Another small key to pod. We've seen 3, though each run only has 2 so far. Here is at least a check of the front of Thieves' Town. We'll see if Jet decides to clear it. 3rd sword.
Oh, French vanilla desert pig.
Okay. Well, unfortunately for Gamma, not without that lamp, he can't clear this.
Yeah, which is particularly unfortunate because, you know, the ice rod's a pretty good weapon against landmail. A little bit slow, but only takes 2 hits per worm.
Yeah, it takes, like you said, it takes some practice, but it's not too bad. You just gotta, it's almost you just gotta delay your timing a little bit over what you would do with the fire rod.
Wow, 3rd Turtle Rock small key. We still don't have the big key.
And there's the big key to Meyer.
Which we'll presumably need, assuming it's a crystal.
Fortunately, no access to Meyer, though once they have access, they potentially could clear Meyer. Though they don't really have a good weapon for Vidi yet.
Between the 2 of them, they have access to Meyer.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. So the question is, do you?
So yeah, I mean,
would you want to do Meyer a full clear with what you've got?
Yeah, no good weapons for Vidi.
Another pod small though.
Yeah, I think the game's really pointed to Pod, except that we still don't have the hammer, so we can't beat Pod.
Well, chat point, we can't even beat Vidi. I think you can beat the small eyes, but yeah, I guess you can't beat the big eyes yet. Or the big eye.
Oh, the big eye isn't vulnerable to bombs. But speaking of dungeons that aren't totally doable, Jet is rescuing Blind and is going to do this slightly out of logic dungeon clear.
Oh, that's a lot of dungeon information. Pod and Skullwoods, red crystals. Turtle Rock and Ice are blue crystals. And then Meyer's a pendant.
I mean, it felt like we'd picked up a few maps. I wouldn't have guessed we had that many maps.
They didn't check Bomb Vendor yet, so... Yeah, that's a lot of maps. We're gonna see
so we just don't... Oh, go ahead.
We're gonna see a Samaria Blind on Jet's side.
I was saying the only dungeons we don't know yet are Eastern, Swamp, and Thieves, and we're about to find out Thieves.
If this is the other pendant, we'll know all of our dungeons. It is! Okay, so at least on our side, we know all the dungeons now. So that means Eastern and Swamp are also crystals.
So we're definitely gonna need a bow.
Yeah, we need a bow. We're gonna need a fire rod. We're gonna need the hammer.
So what do you think from here, though? They're doing a dig game. Smith Chain is kind of logically next. You have the mitts, you have the mirror. Do you do Magic Bat while you're at it and sacrifice the portal and then kind of circle around to continue?
I think so. Simply because you've got the flutes. Without the flute, I would be very hesitant to do that. But with the flutes, I think it's fine. Because it's a little bit of a time, it takes a little bit of time, but it's not too bad.
And in the meantime, we'll see what the Smiths have. Double your investment.
Yep. It's one of the things you don't even realize in the game a lot, is that the Smiths do take 10 rupees from you. So if you were ever in a situation where you actually had less than 10 rupees, you couldn't get their item.
I've never actually tried. I mean, I know you couldn't, but would they say something to you, or would just nothing happen?
I actually don't know. I've never been in that situation.
So Jet's decided to skip Magic Bat.
And
Gamma is checking.
Yeah, Gamma's checking it. You know, Jet's saying goodbye to the chest, and it'll follow him here in just a second. Nothing on Magic Bats, so Jet's not missing out on that for now. He might route it in later when he gets Hammer.
And Gamma's just going to take the purple chest, which means for the time being, he's skipping Cave 45 and Stumpy.
This is one of the tricky parts when you don't have Hammer in Dark Worlds, is you only have access to one portal, and that's the portal at Kakariko with the mitts. So if you want to do routing in the Dark World, it becomes a little more difficult. I think Gamma thought he had the Hammer, which is why he flew to 4. And then remember, he does not.
Oh, so it looks like he's actually going to grab his lamp now.
There's a big key to Skull Woods that just opens one chest. And another pod. That's 4 keys for Jets, for pod keys. This seeds Screaming Pod.
Yeah, it's just weird to scream pod without a bow or a hammer.
Jet is going to pick up this key we saw on the islands.
Oh, and we're getting a mushroom turn in from Gamma.
And that was in the Mire area. There's the Thieves' Small. Jet did not want to see that.
He still doesn't have the hammer. Can't do anything with it. Wow, I always forget you can get around to pod that way without the hammer.
Yep. Oh, and Gamma, this looks like the Mire play. So Jet took a chance on Pendant Thieves Town, though he didn't know it was Pendant. But Gamma knows this is Pendant Mire.
And he also remembers to get rid of that Murderdactyl because Quake will not harm the Murderdactyl, but it can harm you while you're casting Quake.
This is interesting play by Gamma. I actually kind of like it because Hammer likes to appear in Mire a lot.
And minus Vidi, we still have 7 checks in here.
With the big Q, you can get every one of those checks. And if Gamma were to find, say, a bow in here, he could finish it.
Ice Rod strats on Wizrobes. I like it. That's definitely creative.
Right. Gamma's not going to the left side yet. So far, these early checks aren't paying off.
I wonder, like, usually if you do lobby chest before left side, it's because you're hoping there's something in lobby chest that would eliminate the need to do left side. So was there something Gamma was hoping for? Like, if the hammer had been in lobby chest, would he have mirrored out?
He might have. I would not be surprised at all by that play. There's Fire Rod. That's something in pod. That would let us kill Mothula, at least. Finish up Skull Woods. Small to Turtle Rock. Jet is out of small keys. He's going to need another small later to get to the boss, but we know where at least one more is.
Skullwoods was the other 5-6, right?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah, it's not on the tracker. I'm only seeing pod marked as a 5-6, but I think Skullwoods was the other. Okay,
Eastern. That is needed. That's a good pickup for Gamma, or for Gamma out of here. That's
at the
a
moment, without
required.
the bow, all it's going to get us at this moment is the big chest. Though if there's a vanilla bow, you never know.
And unfortunately for Jet, nothing in pod.
I wouldn't call the fire rod nothing.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Well, not the big piece of progression you were hoping for.
Right. Unless there's big progression on Moth. The nice thing about having half magic here is you can easily do fire rod strats on Moth. You're not gonna, run into magic trouble back there.
Yeah, though you might want a potion for that fight, just to be safe. I mean, 16 shots should be enough, but you're going to use some of those getting to Moth.
With 1,000 rupees, I think Jet can afford a potion.
So Gamma's out of Mire with that Eastern Big. That's a nice pickup for him, and Jet will have to eventually go into Mire to get that.
Oh, and Jet is going to give us our first look at Aga Tower here.
So we have the castle. At least, yeah, they both have the castle tower small, so they can get both chests. We haven't seen Lumberjack though, so we don't know if a full climb will be required at some point. Well, there's one arrow, which Jet basically threw on the floor because he was full of arrows.
And still no bow even. Okay, that was a dud.
We're kind of running low on checks here.
First 2 chests in Swamp are starting to look tempting.
First 2 chests in Swamp. We've got Catfish. I think Jet might be headed that way. We do have Desert that can be completed. We do have the back of Skull Woods. Could potentially at some point clear Mire. I mean, Chad was starting to hint at Pedestal. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility at this point. I mean, one of the meanest, something mean this seed could do is put that hammer there.
That's true. There's nothing preventing the hammer from being on Ped.
If you're a runner in this situation, are you starting to you have Ped access? Are you thinking about it, especially this early?
You're probably hoping for a better weapon against Vidi.
Yeah, because you definitely want a bow or a hammer. Jet might be going into deserts. Though he'll get the Meyer big key in here, and we'll see what he does after that.
Well, he also doesn't know that the desert big key's in desert, so he'll be surprised by that. But I imagine once he gets that, he will clear it.
That's a good thing, though. That's a good point, because Jet will be able to finish deserts. Gamma did not have the fire rod or the lamp, so he couldn't. And that's 2 extra checks Jet will get.
2?
A Landmolus plus green pendant.
Oh, right. That's the green pendant.
Gamma, meanwhile, is going to take the chance on the first 2 chests of Swamp. Right, piece of heart in the front of Swamp. 1 more chest, and he's got a mirror out.
Did Jet potion glitch and do the Bollocked side of Pod, by the way?
Did not.
Okay, I didn't remember him buying a potion, so I didn't think he had, but that could be interesting if Gamma did. Oh, right. Jet doesn't have as many bottles. Gamma has an empty bottle. He could flute to 2, buy a potion, and do the Bollocked side of Pod as well.
Gamma might be headed towards Pod, and he hasn't been to Eastern yet, so he's a little bit more incentivized to go this way. Or is he going to take that Thieves Town big or Thieves Town small and do Thieves Town now?
Sure looks it, because otherwise you wouldn't throw away your portal like that when you have so few Dark World access points.
No, he's not. He's got the Skullwoods big. You might be checking Skullwoods big chest. Yeah, he's gonna check the Skullwoods big chest first.
At least it's a quick check. Nice job setting up that bomb jump swordless.
But nothing there. I have to think he's gonna go for Thieves Town now.
Did you see Jet bonk off that torch?
Oh, I missed that.
It was just funny. Not something you see very often, especially at this level of experience, but he just lined up a little bit wrong.
Right, well, Jet doesn't have to do Ice Rod stretch. He's got the Fire Rod. Two Cycle Landmolas for a big key to Hera.
Now we can, logically go upstairs in Hera, though without the hammer we still can't beat Moldorm.
That is a couple extra checks in Hera, yeah.
I'm a little surprised that Gamma went right by the magic shop and didn't buy a potion for potion glitch. But then again, he can flute there anytime, right?
Yeah, it's easy enough to potion there, or to flute there. So he's heading back. Because he's only got the one portal, he's got to run this way if he's going to go towards Pod, which I think he is.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. And let's see if he mirrors and gets a potion. No. Weird. If he's thinking pod, I'm surprised he's not thinking potion glitch. Oh, chat telling us that Gamma actually bought a potion earlier when he turned in the mushroom.
Okay. But Gamma's also going to check the front too of Castle Tower. Yeah, we're running out of spots here. We got the green pendants. We've got a couple chests in Hera. We've got the back of Skull Woods. The Eastern Palace big chest. Pod Bollock side is a possibility too.
I'm just realizing, wow, you don't see Burna strats in that room very often.
Oh yeah, Jet had the fire rod, so he had a little bit easier time in there. But Burna works pretty well. What else do we have? We have the front of Ice Palace. That's possible. We could have Hammer and Ice Palace.
So Gamma will need the fire rod first, but Jet could go there.
We do have the Vidi fight. Can't get into Turtle Rock yet. So we've got a lot of spread out checks right now that we haven't seen. And I think Jet hasn't done Eastern Death Mountain yet, so this makes sense.
We found a few keys on East Death Mountain. Did we find anything particularly interesting? I can't remember.
Not really.
No, I'm looking at the item differences. We didn't even have any bigs over there.
The one thing that Jet will be able to do that Gamma couldn't is Jet will be able to go upstairs in Tower of Hera. Though, as you mentioned, without the hammer, Hera's still not completable.
Yeah, but it is 2 more checks, and at this point, like, hey, that's a premium having 2 checks in one spot.
It really is. I mean, we're 51 minutes in. We don't have a crystal dungeon done yet. Jet's done 2 pendants. That's it for completed dungeons. I guess Jet was
straight for the back.
So Jet was the one that went into Hera and got 2 items. But yes, there are still 2 items we don't know of in there. I mean, the longer this goes on, the more I really start to think that... Could it really be a hammer pedestal?
I mean, have we determined whether you can beat the big eyeball of Vitreous with anything other than the hammer or the bow?
You might be able to do it with bombs, but you'd have to buy a bunch of bomb upgrades. I think chat was saying... Yeah, okay, chat's saying you can damage the main eyeball of Vidi with bombs. Though, okay, somebody else says it. GFE saying it's not logical, though.
Okay, so logic requires either the hammer or the bow to beat Vitreous?
Seems like that, yeah. I know logic can require like a bomb and burn a kill of Lanmola's, but that one's a bit easier, relatively.
Oh yeah, now I'm remembering what East Death Mountain got us. That ton of maps that gave us practically the entire Dark World map.
Alright. Oh, Jet's leaving his portal behind? Is he? He might actually come around to do the hair the other way. Now, Gamma's going to give us some new checks. The Bollock side of Pod. Whatever's over here is not in logic, but it is 2 extra checks.
And it looked like Gamma has decided to skip the vanilla big key chest for the time being so that he can save 1 key. Even though there is another pod small key that we've seen that he doesn't know about.
Rupees and rupees. Nothing on the Bollock side. And Jet is going to give us a couple more checks. We're going to see the back of Skullwoods.
Hey, that'll get us our first crystal.
It will, and we'll get it before the hour mark.
Yay. Wonder if Gamma will head there too now that he has the fire rod.
Why does the
both of these runners? How many missed duck calls have we had this seed?
3 or 4? I think 4 so far. Jet's not doing the back of Skull Woods. Oh, he's gonna do the, he's gonna check Magic Bat.
But Gamma's actually going to be our first in the back of Skullwoods then. I'm kind of intrigued since you brought up ice. You know, we've got what, 4 or 5 checks in logic there?
Yeah, there's... you can't logically get either... You can't get Viddy, you can't get either of the 2 chests on the right side, even though they could get 1 with the Icebreaker glitch. But I think the other 5 chests would... Well, 4 of them, because we don't have the Ice House Big.
Right.
So yeah, there'd be 4 checks in ice.
That would not be pleasant if our progression is an iced tea room.
Is Jet gonna go to ice? He just bought a bunch of potions. No, he's going back. Okay, he's gonna do... This better be Skullwoods at this point. Chad bringing up that the back of Skullwoods isn't in logic, and technically, yeah, that's right. You need all 3 smalls to beat Skullwoods in logic, but it's one of those things you just don't really care about. It's good to remember if you find something good here, but you just... Skullwoods keys are really insignificant to most runners. Gamma doing a good job keeping Moth from the spikes so his fire rod shots do damage. And doesn't even need to burn a potion.
Oh, wow.
Alright.
Okay, so Eastern now?
Yep, that's got to be Gamma's next play. He hasn't been in Eastern yet. And he's got a full Eastern he can do.
And chat reminding us that Ped is now decidedly in logic.
That's Jet's second wall master of the seed. Chat's asking if Viddy's in logic. Viddy's absolutely in logic because you need 0 small keys to get to Viddy. For that reason, Viddy can actually have a small key to Meyer. But as other people in chat are pointing out, yes, the Eastern Palace Big Key would be locked behind all the Meyer Smalls because of where it was.
Right, that's the weird thing, that the two fire-locked chests in Meyer are logically locked behind all the smalls, and the only exception is that one of them can have a small, but then the big key has to be in the other.
Jet gets his bow, and both runners now have a crystal.
And still under the hour mark.
So German's got 2 extra checks in here that Jet wasn't able to get.
This is also going to be the first time we see a runner full clear a dungeon in one go. Actually, no, Jet did that in Desert, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. We're going to get our first new check, which is 50 rupees. Let's see what Jet's next play is. He does need to go into Meyer at some point to get the Eastern Big. He's going for Ice Palace.
Well, as we discussed, 4 checks in Logic and a 5th with Icebreaker.
It would be a pretty ugly place for Hammer, but it absolutely can appear here. Yeah, I mean, item density-wise, as chat's saying, Meyer is more dense. But it is also a pendant.
But it's also completable.
It actually might be bad for Jet if the hammer ends up here, because it will take him further away from Meyer. There's a big key to Turtle Rock, so once we have the hammer and the Ether Medallion, Turtle Rock's completable. So I'm guessing, never mind, I was going to say Jet might Icebreaker and then Mirror and come back around. Looks like he might do the back. Oh, he's got 2 keys. He can do Icebreaker. He's fine. He doesn't have to worry about that. Normally, in a non-key Sandy Seed, if you don't get a small key early, you could get locked over here, but Jet's got 2 keys. So he can do Icebreaker and he's fine.
Yeah, and since he can't finish the dungeon anyway, he doesn't have to worry about the switch position.
Meanwhile, Gamma finishes up Eastern. Nothing in there, though. The hunt for the hammer continues.
Well, at least the fact that Pod is a 5/6 means that the hammer can't be inside the pyramid, so we don't have to worry about, like, a late Aga play coming up that way. On the other hand, no one's checked Lumberjack yet.
That won't. They were probably too worried about Lumberjack until they get the second Castle Tower small, but that is another spot that something could be. I'm just starting to look through our dungeons. We know we can complete Eastern Hera. In theory, once we have the hammer, we can get to Turtle Rock, or we can get to Great Tail Hammer.
No. Whoever in chat was asking for a sweet iced tea, I guess that's a sweet iced tea.
So, once Gamma picks that up, I think he'll have everything he could potentially need to get to GT. The thing is, Gamma's still at least 1 item from Go Mode. Actually, 2 items at least. You'll need the Ether Medallion. I forget about Ether Medallion. They both need that still. But we haven't talked about this yet. They both need the Ganon's Tower Big Key.
Right, and that can be anywhere outside of Ganon's tower. And that's all their fault for accidentally. Each of them separately rolled the settings, and we had to go with the second roll just because of how Sahabot works. The first roll was Fast Ganon, otherwise same settings.
Oh, we also need a third arrow, or we need a third item. We need the silver arrows.
Megawatt saying GT Big was in Cackwell. I don't remember it being there.
I don't remember either of them picking up Ganon's Tower Big Key. They got a big key there, but that was not the GT Big.
Yeah, there was a GT Small around there, I remember.
Ooh, so Jet tries to group the puffs with the hammer. No luck there. So now I gotta do a bit of a slow fight. He's also got some fire rod shots if he needs them. As Gamma picks up his hammer.
But someone in chat was saying that they saw the GT Big when Jet menued recently.
I have to see his menu. Oh, unfortunately for Gamma, because of how he routed that, can't get down to the base, can't get down to Cold Stairs, so he's got to mirror out.
How did Jet get around that?
I don't remember watching, yeah. Now, the unfortunate thing for Jet at this point is getting that hammer is going to take him away from Meyer for a while. Oh, Jet did hit the switch before he did his icebreaker, just in case.
Oh, okay. I totally missed that. Okay, so yeah, Jet's gonna finish pod now. And he'll probably do Pyramid Fairy after this.
I expect Jet to push crystals for a bit. So probably pod and swamp, and maybe even go up to Hera. If he finds Ether, he'll do Turtle Rock. As long as Jet's pushing crystals, he's not losing too much time. But the moment he has to start searching for the Eastern Big, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and if Ether somehow shows up, that's also going to be a problem because then he'll climb Death Mountain to do Turtle Rock, and that's an extra climb.
Yeah. The only good news for Jet is that Eastern Big is a crystal dungeon. Eastern is a crystal, so he won't be searching GT for that.
And it is still possible to have Ether on Ped.
Ether, GT Big Key, Silver Arrows can all be there.
Yeah, Chad also making the point that, you know, if Ether or anything else required is on Ped, that would suddenly swing the race dramatically in Jet's favor, whereas at the moment, otherwise it's probably in Gamma's favor just because he got that Eastern Big Key.
Also, Chat pointing out that Jet potentially has a point in his favor with the Hera Big Key. If something's in the Hera Big chest, Gamma's in trouble.
I can't even remember where that Harabig key was.
It was on Landmo.
Oh, makes sense.
So Gamma's using up all his fire rod shots, but now he forgot to switch to hammer, so he has to wait the pop out exploding, and then he can switch to hammer.
Got to be careful there. I mean, you do have blue mail, okay.
By the way, we found all 4 swords.
Hey, Cold Stare was locking the butter sword just like it does in the vanilla game, right?
Yep. Well, Jet taking on Helmet King, gonna try some hammer strats to finish it off. Without a sword, you kind of have to take some damage there, but gets through it. And looks like Gamma's gonna... Never mind, I was gonna say he's gonna go Swamp, but... Calls the duck again, and he's gonna do Pod.
Swamp might have been a better call. I guess in Pod he can just rush the boss and be done with it.
Yep. See, I think the duck might be a little mad at Gamma from getting fluted a little too many times. I remember Gamma's first flute back in CAC. He fluted the duck and just ignored him.
Yeah.
I think the duck's getting revenge.
So Jet's now gonna full clear Swamp, and then probably do Pyramid Fairy, I'm guessing.
Do not have the Swamp big, so he'll have to leave that chest behind, but you can get everything else. So at this point, we think the runners out. They need silver arrows. They need the ether medallion. They both need the GT big, and Jet needs the Eastern big out of Meyer. So Gamma's 3 items from Go mode. Jet's 4. And it really depends on where some of this stuff is. If some of these items are buried, Jet's probably not in a bad spot, because I feel like Jet's cleared more than Gamma has. Gamma has the back of Thieves Town still to do. Oh, back of Thieves Town, big chest. That's a location that could favor Gamma. If something were to be there and Gamma went back.
Yeah.
Yeah, each runner's got checks that, if something ends up being there, will really benefit them over the other.
Wait, so what do we need at this point besides Ether and GT Big? Oh, silvers because it's swordless.
Yep, we need silvers. Now, for silvers, if they don't find them, if that's their last item for Go mode, they could rush Ganon and get the hint. But that takes a bit of time.
Yeah, the first 3 phases of Ganon aren't exactly fun in swordless. So that's Gamma's 4th crystal.
Jet is giving us new checks in Swamp. Jet is not going to do a diver down, just going to grab the key and come back around.
Yeah, I was surprised. Looks like Gamma's joining him in Swamp. It's funny how they keep converging, but still have such totally different records now in terms of what they've picked up.
Yep. Yeah, each of them is a lot of different checks the other one hasn't done, but they've also have a lot of similar checks done.
Right, Gamma's basically up a crystal, which, if our remaining items turn out to be in the natural progression of things, that puts Gamma in the lead. If they have to go searching for any of them, that gives Jet more of an advantage because he's already done more checks.
Yeah, and the thing is, even with Crystal Dungeons, after Swamp, there's not a lot left unless we find Ether. They could go back. They could both go up to Hera and finish that, though Jet would be able to do more. Yeah, unless they find Ether, after this, the Crystal progression drives up pretty quick.
And while you're up at Hera, you probably do Spike Cave.
Yep. So for Jet, he doesn't want to... Well, he doesn't know this, but he doesn't want to see Ether yet. Though we're also running out of places for Ether to be. There's another chest where both runners are going to have to leave behind. Neither of them have the swamp big.
So we have 4 checks in the back here. Oh, and Jet is going to do this diver down. Wonder why he didn't do the other then.
Not sure. They're both about the same setups. Or maybe just the lack of a sword might be hurting here a little bit.
It is harder to set up if you don't have a sword to line yourself up the same way. There we go.
Meanwhile, Gamma's just going straight to the back. Which, if he leaves left side behind, would benefit him. Jet didn't find anything over there. But being so far from go mode, this is a bit surprising. I wonder if Gamma's starting to... I wonder if Gamma
was just remarking. Sorry.
I was just saying, I wonder if Gamma feels a little behind. Or somebody in the chat saying Gamma just never does the left side.
There's that.
Yep. Because no swords, we have a menu boss.
But Jet is really good at the 2 at a time strat.
It looks like Gamma's gonna match him.
This is giving me a bit of a headache watching all the menuing.
Alright. Argus is down. We'll get a small key to Skullwoods. Well, there's your logical Skullwoods. But no progression in Swamp. We're still looking.
So, logically, the game wanted us to get the hammer out of ice so that we could do Swamp before we could get the bow out of Skullwoods.
Yep, that sounds about right. Gamma's also done with Argus. We'll see if Gamma comes back in here. Being 3 items from go mode, this would be a big 2 checks to skip at this point. Yeah, he's going back in. I think 3 items from go mode, you really can't leave those behind.
But then why didn't he just do it to begin with? Did he really expect to find, like... The
I
answer
think if
to
he
all
found,
the problems in the back.
I think if he had found Ether, he might have bailed.
That's fair, because then you could say, well, maybe the others are in Turtle Rock or GT.
All right, but is Pyramid Fairy the answer? This was locked behind Swamp as well. Bombs, Piece of Heart. No, we're still looking.
So Hera next.
Hera's only a couple checks, but it is a crystal. I mean, Jet still has a full mire. That might start to look appealing. It is. Jet's going for mire.
Okay, so the clock's basically ticking on Gamma now.
And if Jet full clears this and finds something on Vidi, or if he decides, I'm going to go pull Ped and find something there. Well, Jet didn't kill the Murderdactyl, so this is some delayed murdering here.
At least he has blue mail, so he only loses 2 hearts.
So we're going to likely see Jet full clear this. He'll get the Eastern big, but I don't think that'll be enough for him to bail. So the question is, what does Gamma do after this? What's Gamma's next play?
Either Hera or the Back of Thieves, I'd say.
Yeah, those are basically his most dense checks right now.
I mean, he's going to do Pyramid Fairy now, but after that.
Yeah. Jet heading straight for cutscene, so he's about to pick up his Eastern Palace big.
So yeah, Jet will be happy to see this, certainly. And it is kind of fortunate that Ether hasn't shown up, just because it's limiting where our runners can go. Because as soon as Ether shows up, not only is all of TR available, but all of GT Basement is available.
Alright, where's Gamma going? He's gonna go Hera.
He hasn't been in there, so, you know, this is going to be 4 checks for him. He'll have to skip the big chest, and we still haven't seen the small key at all, so we'll skip that, but... I mean, 4 checks in a crystal.
Looking at what big keys we still haven't seen, the only 3 that are still out there are the Swamp Big, the Ice Big, and the GT Big. And these runners do not want to see the Swamp or Ice Big at this point. Though Ice Big logically has to be outside GT.
Right, because as we saw with that switch logic and everything, if you don't have the big key, it's complicated, and you not only have to glitch, you have to glitch in the right order.
Jet, you skipped a chest.
Oh, did he not do bridge chest?
He didn't do bridge chest. It was nothing, but he ran right by it. I think he just remembered.
At least he has the hook shot.
All right, Harapop, we're going to see some new checks on Gamma side. ₹300. Jet's trying to keep his he's basically trying to keep his spooky action glitch going in this next room.
Wow, he succeeded.
Ooh.
You don't usually see runners take that fall running away from Moldorm rather than being pushed off by Moldorm.
All right, a big fight coming up for Jet here. If there's something on Vidi, that's a huge advantage for Jet.
Did we ever see the green pendant turn? And we must have when he finished Pod.
Yeah,
but...
we did. It was nothing.
Okay.
And Moldorm had nothing as well. So Ether's got to be our next item. With I think Silver's and GT Big probably in GT at this point. Well, they also could be in Turtle Rock. But I mean, Ether's got to be our next piece of progression. I think Jet's got a potion. He's got a fairy. We haven't seen Spike Cave that Gamma's going to do.
Yeah, that's the other thing up here. And then I feel like Gamma's got to do Back of Thieves because it's just the most item-dense location left. Jet, I know you have fairies, but this is a big kamikaze.
That eye doesn't... Okay, there he goes. Even one of his arrows got lightning blocked. Oh, Gamma found the book.
I'm a bit surprised he didn't just walk out and check Ether. I know, that would have been... Oh, he just saved and quit back to Old Man and has got to check Ether this way. Okay.
So that is Jet's third pendant. Is he going to give us the blind ped pull? If he wanted to check Lumberjack, he could route those in together. Though he doesn't have the second key for Lumberjack yet, anyway. Alright, here we go. Here's the ped pull. Meanwhile, before you get to see that, though, Gamma's going to give us a look at the Ether tablet. Just a map.
Nothing on Ether.
A useless map, too.
But that means Bombos is also a possibility. But Gamma's gonna do
Thieves Town and maybe Hammer.
I don't blame him.
Maybe Hammer Pegs.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, Hammer Pegs.
Here's your blind pull. A small key.
So that was logically required for the Eastern Big.
Oh, you're right. That was required to get the Eastern Big. Okay, but Jet's gonna go finish Eastern now, which he hasn't done yet.
So yeah, basically at this point, Gamma has the advantage if progression is on Bombos Tablet or Thieves Big Chest. Jet has the advantage if it's in Hera Big Chest.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Thieves Town Big shortly on Gamma's side. The only thing that could be good is if it is Ether. That's probably going to hardgate them more than... hardgate them enough that it won't take them too long. But if it ends up being Silvers or the GT Big in one of those, that might be game.
Well, if Ether's in Hera Big, that's basically game because the amount of time it'll take Gamma to go all the way back through Desert, do Landmos, to think of that as being the play to begin with, and then do Hera Big.
My guess is Jet will go finish Hera right after he's done in Eastern, because he can also, you can also loop in Spike Cave at the same time. That'll be 3 checks for him at this point.
Oh, good. Gamma can now go back and check Pod Vanilla Big Key chest that he orphaned.
Well, that's something that could take a little time away from him, too.
I'd forgotten where that extra pod key was that Jet had and Gamma didn't.
Okay, I got Armos fights for Jet. Ooh, a little off script. Gamma's gonna grab the maiden and then check that big chest. Moment of truth. Is this progression? And it is Bombo. Wrong medallion.
I'm sorry, but your coin is in another castle.
Okay, so isolating that is not going to hurt Jet. As long as he doesn't go back to Thieves Town.
Where the heck is it? Is there anything we haven't seen besides Hera Big Chest and Bombo's tablet that the runners can get at?
I don't think so. I mean, they could look at Lumberjack, but they can't get it without the second small anyway. So at this point, Jet's in a really good position. Gamma is in a bit of trouble because it's more likely that Jet's going to find it first. Unless Gamma goes straight to Bombos after this. And it ends up being there.
Right. Because Gamma has 2 orphaned bosses and the orphaned Pod Big Key chest.
Alright, Jet going upstairs, not even going to bother with the Hera pots. Gamma's going to the Meyer area. He's going to start clearing the bosses he left behind. So this is where Jet could make up time. Or actually, I don't even say make up time. He could pull ahead here.
Yeah, Gamma really needed to go straight to Bombo's tablet. And I'm a little bit surprised he didn't because, you know, that book was a find.
There's Ether.
Oh!
This isn't game yet because Jet still needs 2 items for go mode. He needs the GT Big and he needs silver arrows. But that is a huge advantage for Jet at this point.
And now that he's found Ether, it's less likely he'll do Spike Cave. Though, I don't know. I mean, I guess he'd full clear Thieves, Turtle Rock, he'd full clear GT Basement, and then he'd do Spike Cave, so if, like, something is on Bombos, he'd get to it eventually.
But for Jet at this point, he's going to go run straight over to Turtle Rock and full clear that. Yeah, and Gamma just fell a bit far behind. His one hope right now is Bombo's tablet has one of those 2 last items. Chat asking if Shovel can logically bury itself. Not in this mode. this mode is 100% inventory, I believe. So the shovel will end up in their inventory at some point. If it was beatable only, then it could, but not in 100% inventory. Gamma takes a death. I think he's got a fairy. Yep, he's got a fairy. He's fine.
So it's worth noting also, just, in terms of the bigger scheme of things with these two teams playing, that both of these teams got really close last year to the championship. Phendrana Drifters got to the conference finals, and Team Kappa got to the overall finals, and both of them lost to the eventual champions, Team Awesome. So they've really both got a lot to play for here, trying to seal the deal that neither team could quite do last season.
Yeah, and Phendrana is still undefeated at this point. They're trying to stay that way in this race. I almost have to wonder a little bit if that puts a little extra pressure on them to try to finish it all up unbeaten.
Ask Megawatt, he's in chat.
I mean, it would definitely be a very big accomplishment. I mean, especially with Rando being Rando sometimes.
Okay, and to address a question in chat, the first 3 games of the Best of 5 series can be played in any order, so we call them Courage, Wisdom, and Power, but the bot calls Courage Game 1, Wisdom Game 2, and Power Game 3, regardless of the order they're played in.
Big key to Ganon's Tower. We're 1 item from Go mode.
So Gammachuu basically needs silvers to be on Bombos and to check Bombos after this before going to Hera.
And Gamma gets the Hera big. That is the item he needs, but that's an isolated spot at this point.
So, based on the current trajectory, this whole seed came down to the fact that early in the game, Jet went up Death Mountain without the hook shot, and Gamma went up Death Mountain without the mirror.
Yeah, basically that, because when Gamma was in Desert the first time, he couldn't finish it and without that lamp, so that hurt him. But Jet had that lamp, actually he had the fire rod at that point too, I think. Yeah, he did. But yeah, that let Jet clear it in 1 shot, and Gamma left a couple bosses undone, which he was hoping wouldn't hurt him, but it did. So he's going to pull his ped and get his logically required Meyer Small. So
okay, where's Gamma fluting to now?
Back to he's going to 4. This might be the Bombos check.
Oh, and there's our second castle town.
We still don't know what's on Lumberjack.
Could be silvers there. Could be silvers on Bombos. Could be silvers on Trinex. Did you see what Jet just got out of the Turtle Rock Big Chest?
Yep, a logically required pod key.
Yeah. So retroactively, we know that Ether can't have been on Pyramid Fairy.
Alright, big moment for Gamma. No.
Oh.
And Gamma's going to make the climb back up to Hare. I don't know if he has anything else really at this point. So he won't be too far behind Jets. He'll be like probably what 3-4 minutes maybe a little more.
Yeah. But by the way, where do we think Ice Palace Big is?
Probably on Laser Bridge at this point. I don't think it can be anywhere else or on Trinex. I guess it could be in Swamp Big, as chat says. Nope, there's Ice Big.
You're right. So now the question is, like, do you clear GT basement looking for the silvers? Do you just climb the tower and hope they're in one of the 4 upstairs chests? And then ask Ganon for the hint?
Why did Gamma jump down like that? That was weird. There's so little left to check, I think you just clear GT basement. Yeah, at this point, basically, Gamma is a Turtle Rock clear behind Jet.
Which is not horrible, but at the same time, this late in the game, it's difficult to overcome that difference.
Yeah, I mean, GT routing could potentially help one of them out, or could help Gamma out if Jet takes a really long route and Gamma's got a quicker route, but that's not going to be enough on its own.
Gamma's also got to watch his arrow count here.
There's arrows he can pick up in Turtle Rock if needed.
Oh, yeah, there were some in the chests.
Alright, so Jet likely on his way to GT. No guessing game, we have the GT big key, but we do need those silver arrows.
I mean, we could guess where the silvers are.
I mean, we've got at least 1 to 27. And then we have a couple other checks outside of that, because it could still be in Swamp Big, Ice Big, Lumberjack.
And I think that's it.
Oh, Gamma is gonna go mode Turtle Rock.
Wait,
That's bad. He's not gonna get his GT big key.
Is he just assuming the GT bigs in GT?
I guess so.
Is this just he feels so far behind he thinks this is his only way to catch up?
Yeah, I think he's taking the shot on the 27 versus the 12.
Well, 22 since they're only.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't have the
GT can't big key can't be upstairs.
So Jet is gonna full clear, which is the right move. There's his locations. There's so little left outside of GT. Just clear GT. There's no point in like brushing Ganon, getting the hint, and then coming back up here if it's here.
So if it's not here, and Gamma hadn't just skipped the GT big, that could have worked to his advantage if he then took the risk of skipping GT basement instead. But as it is, he's not going to get far without the GT big. And welcome to our Raiders from SpeedGaming 2. So... always seems to be at least one GT small key in GT, in Key Sanity. Have you noticed?
Yeah, that tends to happen more often than not. There's the silver arrows. Jet is officially in go mode.
That's like my favorite chest for guessing the big key in, too.
For Jet at this point, it's just a climb. Now, the one thing is, they never did find the bug net. So, we're looking at a Hammer Aga 2.
So Gamma's doubly screwed, is what you're saying, in addition to not having the GT big.
I guess so. Now, so remembering, this isn't the end of the series. Even if Jet does pull off this win, which looks very likely at this point, this is only a 2-0 lead. We have seen teams come back from down 2-0 to win. I hate to bring this up, but Team Kappa did do it last season. I hate to bring it up.
Against your team, in fact.
Yeah.
To win their division.
Yeah, that's why I hated bringing that up.
And, well, the other thing, in terms of people being painfully aware of things, is Megawatt has never lost a regular season match. He has never won a playoff match, so I'm sure he's trying to break that streak.
Yep, that match will be tomorrow night between Megawatt and 1UP. I believe it's just an open mode seed.
Yeah, that's the Courage match.
Alright, so Jet making his climb. Interesting that these runners only picked up one shield in the seed. With all the checks they did, they only found one shield.
They found another. It was on Bumper Ledge. They weren't going to go up for it.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we did see that one. So Gamma is going to get his silvers here very shortly, but the GT Big Key is not going to be here.
Now, it won't have made a difference in the end because barring like a couple of Ganon falls, there's no way Gamma would have caught up to Jet, even if he had grabbed the GT Big.
And we get to see our Hammer Aga 2.
You're not really likely to see triples here.
Yeah. I think these runners will be happy to get a single each phase.
Hey, there's a double.
Jet did get a double. So I think there was a 6 cycle for Jet. He missed one, but doubled up on another.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, there's our third shield sitting in further checks in rando room.
But at this point for Jet, it's just a Ganon fight away. And oh, that hurts for Gamma. I mean, at least it's not too bad to get back up to that chest after this.
It wouldn't be Gamma without some clowning, right?
Meanwhile, Jet gets a really nice setup for Phase 2. Hey, another GT small and GT.
And Jet does still have those 2 fairies, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he doesn't need to be too worried about his health, especially with red mail here.
Right, and we're down to Phase 4 Ganon. Just 4 silver arrows left.
Oh,
and
that's
the torch
nice.
good.
I was just gonna say, getting off the double in Swordless is pretty nice.
But he also got the torch glitch to boot. But there's Ganon down. And Jet and Vendrana Drifters are about to take a 2-0 lead in this series. And Vendrana Drifters will stay unbeaten. Official time was 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 34 seconds.
And
we can officially say
that's Gamma's forfeit coming through. He opened that, saw Jet finish, didn't want to go on his big key hunt. But GG's to him in a well-played seed. And it looks like we already have Jet here with us, so GG's and congrats.
GG, thank you.
So how was that old dungeon seed?
Man, I regret clearing Meyer. Well, not clearing Meyer, but finishing Meyer so much. So I knew it was... I decided to do it because I still needed... At that point, I still needed Ether, GT Big Key, Silver, so I'm like... It's 2 items with Ped plus the thing on the boss, so I'm like, I might as well do it, but man, did I regret.
Well, Gamma also ended up going back and finishing Meyer anyway. Gamma's also joining us here.
Hey, GG, Gamma.
Hey, GG's, Jet.
Chet did point out at the time that was actually a logically required Ped.
Yeah, that Meyer small key was pretty trolly spot.
Oh, did that block? Well, yeah, by logic, it was required. What was in Meyer? There was something good in Meyer. I forget what.
It was
Eastern
Eastern Big Key and Vanilla Big Key chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt good getting that early. I was a little nervous it was going to be pending because I hadn't dipped Eastern yet, and it was like
I wanted to get it early, but no hammer until ice.
Yeah. Oh, you were waiting for hammer to kill Viddy in one go?
No, to enter Meyer. I thought you need a hammer to use the medallions.
Oh.
If not, then I lucked it out hard.
That's what
that used to be required. You needed hammer to use the medallions, I thought.
Oh, well, that's lucky the hammer wasn't in there. Yeah, I went in there before I went Ice Palace.
Megalith's gonna yell at me later.
Tablets.
Yeah, I went in there early on after I got the quick. I didn't even touch Hype Cave. I'm like, oh, this feels like a good play. I saw that was a pin and like, you know what? I'm still gonna go for it. And I got Eastern Big Key. I hadn't gotten a map for Eastern. I'm like, do I go in there? When I got the buff, Skull Woods, I felt good. I felt good until that Aether happened.
That would have been the play. I really wanted to dip into Meyer when I was there, so If I had actually done that, but I'm like, no, you need hammer. I'm just gonna do everything else. I'm sure you guys had fun watching me do that on stream. Like, did Jet forget he could enter Mire?
Oh, no, we just thought you were waiting until you could beat Viddy.
Yeah, luckily
I
there
guess
was
it worked.
really immediate, hard progression early on, so it was a good thing to wait at the end. If you were ace and big kid for go mode, that is. But I take it you were. What was your go mode?
It was silvers essentially. Got the GT big in Turtle Rock, and then I'm checking everything else because I need silvers, and I don't want to have to make the climb all the way back up to Death Mountain again if it happens to be there. So it's like I had an option of just beelining straight to Ganon and having him tell me where they are, or just clearing the stuff on my way. And I felt like it wasn't that much time to just finish up Turtle Rock and do GT basement, well, everything until and just if it's not there, then Ganon will tell me, which dungeon that I skipped, and I'll just go do it.
Yeah, that was gonna actually be my play. I was just gonna hope for it to be on top of GT because when I found Ether, I had already made 5 trips up the mountain.
Oh wow!
First time I had mid, so I cleared out everything. Second time for the lamp only, I didn't even touch Hera. Third for Hera, without the big key, I did Hera pot, and then I did Spike Cave, which gave me a book. So I went back up there just for the Ether tablet. And then one more time with the big key of Hera, I'm like, oh gosh, this feels disgusting. And I just kind of semi-go moded TR, just doing laser bridge. I skipped everything else and just hope, okay, if I find the big key in GT, I'm going to climb and hope the silvers are up there. But
I went up to Death Mountain sort of early before Hookshot, I think. Just did the left-hand side up into the 2 items in Hera and just left after that point. So I had my lamp early. And then I went back after I got Hookshot and everything else and just full cleared the rest of it.
Yeah.
That actually wound up ultimately making the difference in the game because I don't know if you guys remember where the mirror and the Hookshot each were, Saha's Closet and King's Tomb.
Yeah.
But Gamma got the Hookshot, was like, oh, well, all this stuff opened up on Death Mountain, I'll float up there. Jet got the mirror, is like, oh, all this stuff opened up on Death Mountain, I'll float up there. And the result was you could each only do part of the checks, but in Jet's case, it meant the lamp. And so when Jet did Desert, he had a fire source to finish off Landmos and get that Hera big key. Gamma did not.
Yeah, I didn't have a fire source my first dip in there. I'm like, that feels pretty dirty, but I'm just going to hold off. And it would have been a good play because you had both keys early on. I think even the big key was in there.
Yeah. Actually, for a little bit, we were wondering whose check was going to pay off because there was a time in there where Jet had the Hera big key, Gamma had the Thieves Town big key, Gamma had the Thieves Town big key and hadn't been into the back of Thieves Town yet. And so we're sitting there thinking, is one of these big chests going to pay off? And ironically, they both had medallions.
Just one was the correct medallion, the other wasn't.
The other was a dirty one.
So who had hammer first?
Jet, I think you did, but just by a little bit, because you were both in Ice Palace at about the same time.
Okay.
That was another thing that cost Gamma a little time, is Jet, you set up for the potential to finish it, and Gamma did not. So Gamma had to make 2 laps through Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, that also felt pretty dirty.
It's an awkward one to do without hammer.
I should have hit the switch. I don't know what I was thinking. If I'm expecting the hammer, I should hit the switch without the big key on hand.
Yeah, that's the thing I've learned doing, guys. Just always hit the switch, even if you think you're not going to finish a dungeon. Just do it. It doesn't take that long. And I don't know. I just did it actually by muscle memory. I didn't really think about it this time. I'm like, I'm just going to go hit the switch and keep going. And yeah, it ended up paying off.
Also, we have to ask this, because this happened to both you runners. What did you do to piss off the duck in this one?
Oh my god, I don't understand this game. I don't, how does that even happen? And that's not the first time that happened to me either.
What happened?
I was walking, I called the duck, and I walked towards the duck, and he just flew right by me, he didn't grab me, just ignore me.
Oh, that happened I think once with me too. That's kind of annoying when that happens.
I think we counted 4 times that you guys called the duck and it didn't grab you.
Well,
yeah, Yeah, I think since we got the flute early on, he was probably getting tired. Like, nope, I need a break here. But yeah, it's just that I didn't like the seed. Felt like a pet seed early on. With all the keys, all the pendants were all in logic. So I just hoped for the best, clearing out the pendant dungeons at the end there.
Yeah, I think you had access to all 3 pendant dungeons to finish them. Beyond the ability to clear Vidi, you had the rest of the access pretty early. So we were thinking, too, Ped's got to have something, right? And I guess it technically did, but not what you wanted.
Not this time.
Yeah, I'm thinking back through that. I mean, yeah, this definitely played out interesting. We were wondering where the hammer was for the longest time. You guys were running out of checks, and we were starting to think, could it be a hammer on Ped Seed? And then when you got the bow off of Mothula, that seemed like an even bigger possibility.
Yeah. And when I got that, I still didn't have any mapped for Eastern, so I don't know. It was between that and I think Swamp or Ice. I don't know, one of those dungeons. It was a 50-50. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it because it wasn't still in logic. I still had only 2 keys for the back of Skullwoods, but I just decided I need to clear it. Maybe there's something of value in here. But yeah, it just came down to Ice Palace really, because I didn't have much checks left after that. I think all I had was Lanmu and Vidi.
Yeah, I had like basically disgusting checks. I had 2 in Pod and not be able to beat it. I think I still had the 2 at Hera at that point and like Ice Rock Cave, and I don't know. It was just like I could do those things, or I can get like 5 items in Ice, so I'm just gonna go to Ice. It was the most dense location, so. And all of my I also had all of Meyer.
Yeah, that was where I got a little bit surprised that you picked Ice over Meyer at that point. Because had you already finished Skullwoods and gotten the bow? Maybe not. But even so, there were more checks available in Meyer than Ice.
Well, Fire Rod was in Ice?
It was in
Fire Rod was
Pod?
in Pod, yeah.
Pod, okay.
Yeah, you definitely had. I mean, well, yeah, you obviously had Fire Rod before you went into Ice because Bombos was in Thebes' big chest. And
oh yeah, that's right.
Very late.
Of course.
I got excited when I saw that when I opened up the chest. I'm like, I just see a medallion. I'm like, oh, this is it. And then I see his Bombos. I'm like, oh, feel bad.
So after this, Vendrana Drifters is up 2-0. Megawatt versus 1-up scheduled for tomorrow. I mean, Vendrana you keep your undefeated streak going, but you can't count Team Cap out yet because of what they did last year. They came back from a 2-0 deficit last year.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. I'm just gonna wish 1-up a good luck, and hopefully he's able to turn these things around for us. But it's definitely gonna be a hard matchup. Megawatt is definitely not an easy matchup. But I wish him both luck.
Yeah. It'll be a fun race tomorrow. Make sure you guys check it out. Hopefully it'll be restreamed.
I have to imagine it'll be restreamed. Well, I guess there's that little AGDQ thing going on, but other than that, it's a fairly slow time of year. But yeah, good luck to both of your teammates tomorrow. We also have a great match tomorrow afternoon. The 2019 Titans Mitts of 2019 and Error 216 are playing their 4th game, Sailor Nep versus the Lane. So that's going to be at 3:10 tomorrow afternoon, and check the schedule for where the restream for that winds up as well.
We are coming to the later half of the division finals here in the Invitational League. And checking over on the Open League side as well, we have one match tomorrow on the Open League side between 16-Bit Nerds and Fromps Time, Ikea versus Tepidino. That one is also TBD on channel.
And that series is currently split at 1 game apiece, so that'll be the game 3, but they will have a game 4 at least as well. So yeah, we're getting to the meat of these series, a lot of game 3s and game 4s. So, you know, it's where stuff starts to get determined. We actually had one sweep that wrapped up earlier today where Triple Dino Disaster finished their sweep of Last Locationers, which was quite a surprise since Last Locationers had the bye and everything. But yeah, it's starting to come together here and should be exciting. And JP, I believe your team's next match has now been scheduled for Tuesday, so that should be a good game 4.
Yeah, I think they were talking about in the background. I haven't checked the channel. But yeah, it's tentatively going to be Willard versus Aussie on Tuesday with channel and mode and all that still TBD.
And remember, the winner of that series plays the winner of this series in the next round.
Yeah, we could get a rematch with Team Kappa or taking on the Drifters and trying to end their unbeaten ways. But we got to get through. We got to finish up Shacktool first. We got to finish that series. Can't look ahead yet.
Yeah. And in the meantime, since we didn't shout it out yet, please do give both of our runners a follow. I mean, they really are both top runners in ALTTPR in general. Definitely both worth watching.
Yep. Also, thanks to our tracker for today, Bandman25. Thanks for keeping up to date. Keysani is always a little bit of a tougher mode to track. And yeah, thanks for joining me here today in comms, Drossi.
Yeah, always a pleasure, JP. And yeah, wow, it's after midnight already, so happy tomorrow, those of you on the East Coast. But I think that'll do it for us tonight then.
Yep, have a good night, everybody.